Hello everyone, and welcome to our new session of Working Wisely, where we will have a quick look on what we achieved in the last months and what new features we provide. Said this, let's jump right away in our presentation. Yeah, first we will have a look at another workflow where we, while doing this, present you the newest features, as well as the workflow itself and how it can be used. Later on, then we will come to our Q&A session. We prepared some questions which came to us in the last weeks, but also are keen to hear your questions via the YouTube chat, and so on. Jumping right into this, we will have a closer look at the time off requests workflow. The purpose of this request is basically to document and process everything related to our request for leave. So by doing this, we provide a task template for vacation, for parental leave, or the sabbatical year. The audience for this, we think, is mostly, probably mostly the team leads or the internal HR department. And this whole thing should be quite easy to understand and is a good entry point for beginners of our tool. During the introduction or the look at this feature, at this workflow, we will encounter different features. First of all, of course, our workflow library, where we will start off, but then we will have also the automatic assignee, which we introduced last time, and then our brand new features, the task comments, as well as the subtask integration with the calendar, so that you are able to synchronize the subtask with the due date with your personal calendar. Okay, let's jump right into our features. Product. So as you can see, I'm now here in the workflows library, have my private workflows, but then when I go down here, you can see the time off request. Looking at this a little bit in more detail, we have 3 steps. First, it needs to be approved by someone in your company. Then the next step would be that it is approved, and as soon as everything is done, the request is logged and therefore completed. For the task templates, we think the most typical is probably the vacation request, but also someone could ask for a sabbatical year, for example, or for parental leave. We will have a closer look at one of them in the process. On the custom fields, yeah, of course, it's important how many days you want to take vacation or leave. And then we have the label time off request rejected in case, for whatever reason, because of the people in the team overlap on their vacation, it's not possible. What I did, I already customized this workflow. I didn't do any changes yet, but I will come to this later on because it gets important when we come to the Q&A session. And what I did basically is copy-pasting, just customizing it, creating my own workflow where I'm the owner from. As you can see here in the library, currently I have 2 Taskboard to workflows attached to this. And you can see here in the navigation also the time of request development and time of request sales department. I would quickly jump to the time of request development, which I already set up. For example, I added Arya Stark as an auto assignee for the first step, so she is the one who needs to approve the incoming requests, and then later it gets back assigned to me to do further on steps. Looking at the task templates, when I open the panel, we can see the workflow related steps are the parental leave and the sabbatical and the vacation. Let's maybe have a closer look at the vacation. When I click here, we can see it has 5 smaller subtasks, which we have to complete in the process. And besides this, it's pretty easy. The rest of the templates look quite similar, a little bit of variation depending on what is required. Because I want to take now, let's say, holidays at some point this year, with the hope that the vaccination and everything goes forward and we can actually have some, I will simply use the template and it creates the task on the board already assigned to Aria. But of course, we want to make some additions to this. So first step would be I put my name in because we want to know who asks for leave. And then I have to check here the vacation start and end date. So I would maybe start at the 2nd or let's say 1st of 2021. And then the end would be the 13th or the 13th, 10th, 2021. Not exactly sure, but yeah, as you might notice, we have a quite small update to the task editor, which is not live yet, but which will come in the near future to our beta program. So stay updated for this, and we will further look into this in more detail, maybe or probably in the next session. Putting in the start and the end date. Whoops, that was a wrong click. I can now check this taskboard. I'm not exactly sure. There's probably one weekend. So let's say it's 8 days of vacation, which I want to do. So I can check the duration. The rest of the process is check compatibility with other requests would be done by Aria. Because I'm quite keen to get this request accepted, I would use our new task chat functionality to now ask Aria for some speed up in the process. So could you maybe accept this request within the next hour? And as we are waiting for Aria to answer and maybe to already handle this request, let me iterate over this task chat. So because I'm currently connected to a Slack workspace, this is automatically synchronized with Slack. So when you would browse Slack as well, you could see this message there as well. And Aria answered us, which is quite nice, and also already checked this. And as you can see, you could also attach files, for example, some messages. Okay, so Aria did this already. So she is recommending maybe Costa Rica. As this file attachment is in the thread, it's automatically also included into the attachment section. So when I would remove it here, it would also remove this from the thread automatically. But let's go further with the process. So like I said, it's checked, and I would move it further to being approved. In this stage, we would need to check our process or need to do the process in our payroll. For simplification, let's say this is already done. And then I would like to publish this in my team calendar. Maybe I'm quite busy and I would like to arrange this later on, or I don't know exactly how to do this and I need to ask someone. I could assign this to me and say I want to maybe do this tomorrow. Because I'm already connected via the My Tasks section with my calendar, I now could go to my calendar. And as you can see, I have here the published in team calendar automatically synchronized with the rest what I have to do. So let's jump back somehow. Sorry for the interruption. Let's have it. So here we are back. So back to the taskboard, I now can move this task to complete it. And as soon as I finish this task tomorrow, I can come back here and also check the workflow, the subtask. That being said, we are for the small demo part done now. Let me try to find the presentation. Here we are. So maybe we can answer some questions which came in the last weeks based on the workflows. First, what are the key differences between the workflow and the taskboard? For this, let's go back to the to the application again. As I mentioned in the beginning, when looking at the library, you can see that multiple workflows are connected to this specific one. What this means is that all changes related to either the task template, the custom fields, or the labels, which are directly connected to one of the workflows, as well as the individual steps, are aligned with this documentation. And I'm the only one, because I'm currently the only owner. I'm the only one who can do updates. Looking at this, going back to our development, I maybe recognize that, where's my task? There's my task. I maybe recognize that would be beneficial to have the start or the end date not in the description, but explicitly mentioned in the custom fields. So going back here, I could easily adopt this by going to edit and then adding these fields to the workflow. So doing this. Also mentioned that I'm the because when I do changes, this will affect all connected taskboards. So changing, saving this, and then jumping back to the development will automatically have this attached. So I could go here and choose April, August was a Tuesday. So it was actually 9 days of duration and starting date, sorry, Monday. And then here until the 10th, have this documented here. Because I have multiple taskboards connected to this one workflow, the changes which I just applied also are applied to the other taskboard, which is, for example, for the sales department. So coming back to the key differences, it's for first the ownership, so that only a set of people or an individual can change the workflow, and therefore has its ownership and can ensure that, for example, multiple departments work with the same process and work with the same workflow. And also having this propagation of the changes on the workflow, we can align and streamline the process of changing every taskboard individually by simply doing this via 1 or 2 steps. Hope this answers the question. If not, feel free to follow up in the known channels. So coming to the next question, it would be how do I include the task template if it hasn't already been created? We are aware that currently when we look at the workflow and maybe want to create a new workflow, I have to pick, or I want to pick a task template. Looking at the custom fields, I can automatically create this from here and then add this to the workflow. However, this is not possible at the moment for the task templates. We know that's probably not that intuitive from the beginning because you have to go back to the task board, open there the task templates, create one, and then come back here to pick this one. However, like I said, we are aware of this issue and we are currently trying to come up with an improved and more intuitive process so that you directly come here and can create something from scratch without changing the context or the boards. Yes, so that's from the prepared question. And as I said, is stop the presenting. As I said, we would like to answer some questions from the current audience. So I would pass this part to Ariana, who didn't met Ariana yet. She is quite new to the team, joined us a month ago, something like this, as our account director. And if you are in contact with us, she's probably the person to speak to. So feel free to take over.
Thanks, Lucas. Hey, everyone. So a few more questions we have is, how do I create subtasks? How do I make subtasks, mandatory to move to the next stage or work step? So I think, I don't know, Lucas, you jump in here, but I think the best way to do this is with work step owners. Essentially, they can sort of control, whether the process can move on from a specific work step. So I think as long as you have a work step in between your process that you're able to assign a work step owner, they essentially can ensure that everything within the task or the subtask is completed before moving to the next stage.
Yeah, so that's, I think, a valid tool to assign a work step owner you can see my screen right now again, I think. So to assign a work step owner to the work step, let me do this in a second. What could be done as well is, for example, that I restrict the subtask itself to, for example, it needs approval so that this process in payroll can only be completed in a specific step. Combined with the work step owner, only the owner can ensure that this task moves on with the work step completed. That's correct. Anything else?
Next question is, how do I update my avatar in my Workstreams.ai account?
Okay, that's something you can do via Slack or via Microsoft Teams. So when you update there, your avatar should automatically update the avatar in our application as well. Same is, I think, for Google as well. So when you have a Google avatar and would use Google for our tool, it would change accordingly to what you have in place on one of these three.
Cool. And the next one is, how do I stop notifications from popping up?
Okay. I assume that's related to Slack. So let me see if I can quickly jump to Slack to showcase this. So there, you should be able to see now Slack when I'm right. So we are here in the channel in Slack. Let's see if I can get this bigger. Yeah, and this can be done either by talking to our Workstreams bot directly and telling Workstreams that it should mute. So from now on, no message or whatever will be posted from our side in this channel. Same as when I want to enable this again, I would say quickly unmute. And now task messages and everything else would be posted again. The same thing or similar thing can be achieved by going to the web app, going under settings and then Slack messages. You can see, okay, it's actually also only in Slack. So let's jump back to Slack. And in the pinned messages, you can find the Workstreams message where you can go to settings. And there you have the disabled here. Other options would be so mute all task messages in this channel. Other options would be also to have the compact or basic or full view, or shrink the view of a single message down to the essential parts. However, we are aware that you probably want to have still the task message itself, but don't want to be notified over every single step what is to be done. So, for example, completing a subtask. For this, we are currently working on a more granular level of task or notifications or messages, because when speaking of these things, you only get notified when the Slack messages or Slack setup is in this order. For this, you can also go and see under the icon, info icon, may see change notifications, no notifications. So I don't get informed over any notification here in this channel anyway. This can again be customized via Slack. That was quite intensive. I hope that answers the question.
Got it. We have one last question. In which case would I use a workflow instead of a taskboard? So I might just add my 2 cents and then you can go, Lucas. So I think a workflow is best used for standardizing processes across a company, irrespective of the team or, the geographic location of the specific company. You can ensure the process is sort of adhered to a certain compliancy level. But a task board in itself, in isolation, is best for a team that's using a channel for a custom process that doesn't need to be recreated. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
That's basically it. So when you have multiple, let's say, departments or multiple projects which are using the same process, the workflows is probably what you want to choose for this, and as well having some kind of ownership over a process, so that, for example, in your team, not everyone should be able to change certain things. This can also be ensured via the Workstreams workflows. So that's basically the 2 things. However, we, of course, having currently our focus on the workflows, and we will come up with more and more features. So keeping up to date there and see how this develops in the future. Maybe it will take over certain parts or certain use cases which are at the moment on the task boards, or the task boards are better for. Maybe this will be in future also done by our workflows. Yeah. So you said that's the last question is still valid?
Yeah.
Good. Then I think that's from our side. Before I will leave it to the outro. I would maybe point your attention to one further thing. We just recently added a new advertising market workflow for the marketing category. So if you're in need of something like this, feel free to use it. Feel free to make or customize it and adopt it to your process. And if you do so, or if in any other case you want to give us feedback, feel free to use our new feedback modal. Instead of stars, you can choose our new emojis, however you want to call them, and yeah, leave your thoughts in the text box. We are definitely keen to hear them. As usual, you can also reach us via the community, via Twitter, via email, what you prefer. Feel free to reach out to us, and we are happy to help. So until then, see you the next time and have a great day. Ciao.